A detailed review and summary of Charles Baudelaire's prose poetry collection The Spleen of Paris, Shadows of the City and the Human Psyche. Introduction. The Spleen of Paris, Le Spleen de Paris, is a collection of prose poems by Charles Baudelaire, one of 19th-century France's most influential poets. This work breaks away from traditional verse poetry, presenting 50 short prose poems that delicately capture the city of Paris, the lives of its inhabitants, and the intricate emotions within the human soul. In this essay, I will explain the main content, features, and literary significance of The Spleen of Paris in a way that is easy to understand, even for those unfamiliar with the book. Baudelaire and the birth of The Spleen of Paris. Baudelaire pioneered a new genre by moving away from conventional formal poetry and creating prose poetry. He set his work in everyday, ordinary places, Parisian alleys, parks, and empty rooms depicting the joys and sorrows of ordinary people and the city's melancholic side. When Baudelaire wrote this collection, Paris was rapidly changing under the tides of industrialization and capitalism. The darkness and alienation hidden beneath the city's glamour, as well as human loneliness, are central themes of this poetry collection. The form and features of prose poetry. The Spleen of Paris is not a novel with a clear plot or structure, rather, it is a collection of independent prose poems. Each piece has its own theme and atmosphere, intertwining the various people encountered on the streets of Paris, their emotions, and the poet's inner landscape. This form effectively expresses the chaos, fragmentation, and instability of reality and human existence. Baudelaire sought to discover poetic beauty within the prose of everyday life and to elevate it into art. Main content and themes. 1. The underside of the city and human loneliness. Baudelaire focuses not on the outward splendor of Paris, but on its hidden corners and the loneliness of those who live there. For example, in a passage where he imagines the life of a middle-aged woman behind a closed window, the poet's empathy and imagination for the suffering of others are evident. Baudelaire portrays the lives of the marginalized poor old women, street girls, ragpickers, beggars with a warm gaze. 2. The aesthetics of spleen and melancholy. Spleen refers to more than mere sadness, it encompasses boredom, ennui, existential anxiety, and disillusionment with the world. Baudelaire expresses the inner pain of modern people through this emotion. He transforms everyday melancholy into art, exploring the coexistence of beauty and ugliness, good and evil, and the complexity of human emotions. 3. The artist's agony and modernity. As an artist, Baudelaire is constantly torn between reality and ideals, beauty and ugliness. He reflects on the corruption of art, the social role of the artist, and the isolation of the artist's position. The Spleen of Paris delves deeply into the artist's inner conflict and the meaning of existence in modern society. 4. Irony and compassionate perspective. Baudelaire describes the backstreets of Paris and the lives of its common people, but he does not simply pity or romanticize them. Instead, he observes reality with irony and detachment, sometimes sharply criticizing human contradictions and hypocrisy. Yet, underlying his work is a profound sense of compassion and love for humanity. Literary significance and influence. The Spleen of Paris holds great significance in literary history for breaking the mold of traditional poetry and pioneering the genre of prose poetry. This work greatly influenced later French symbolist poets such as Verlaine, Rimbaud, and Mallarmé. By poetically depicting urban melancholy and the inner world of modern people, Baudelaire opened up new horizons for modern poetry. Personal impressions and contemporary relevance. What impressed me most about The Spleen of Paris is that Baudelaire does not turn away from the city's darkness and human loneliness, instead, he seeks to find beauty within them. He persistently explores the truths of life hidden beneath the surface, poetically portraying the complexities of human emotion and the underside of society. Even today, urban alienation and human loneliness remain relevant issues. The Spleen of Paris shows us that we should not ignore the small sorrows and loneliness we encounter in daily life, but rather, seek the possibility of discovering human beauty within them. Conclusion. The Spleen of Paris is not merely a book about the melancholy of Paris, but a profound exploration of the modern psyche, the artist's agony, and the complexity of human existence. Its innovative form as prose poetry and Baudelaire's sharp perspective on the city's underside remain fresh and relevant even today. Through this book, we are reminded to reconsider the monotony and melancholy of everyday life, and to seek the hidden beauty within our own human experiences. This concludes the detailed summary and review of The Spleen of Paris. I hope this essay helps those unfamiliar with the book to understand its core themes and unique appeal.